What's up, everyone? Steven here from TechMaker.tv. In this episode, we're going to try to wrap up our updated design using the material design color system. This is part 3 in that. I think this is actually part 20 or something close to that in our building out a note-taking application series. So if you followed along up till now, we should have a pretty good app going on. So in any case, we'll see how far we get. I'm going to try to get a lot more of it done here, but I don't know exactly where we're going to land. So let's go ahead and jump in. As always, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out new stuff every day. And please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. All that said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've kind of just started with the toolbar up at the top, and I'm gradually working on that. The next thing I'm going to do, if we, well, let's just talk through it here. So what I want to do is move these buttons up into the toolbar and maybe recolor them, work on the fonts a little bit or something like that. We may eventually use icons, but I'm not completely sure yet. So let's go ahead and just see how we can do that. Well, first of all, we're going to have to add a new thing or new type of thing that we haven't done so far in the app yet. So over in our navbar file, in this toolbar, so we've got our OL right here. You know what we can do here is actually do a div, and let's do deflex and justify content between. And let's go ahead and bump this OL up into there. And I'm going to have to realign a few things here because my, well, it's just actually the syntax I need to cut and paste again. Okay, let's see. So what do we got? We've got our OL here. What I want to do now is I want to actually, let's call this, how do I do this? So yield, and then let's call this like toolbar, or no, let's just call it tools. Something like that. Again, I don't know why this is messed up like that. I would fix it, but actually on my work computer I've actually switched to VS Code, and I'm gonna take some time this weekend and fix that up on here, so I'm not even gonna worry with it. So yield tools, and then what we need to do over in our where are we at here? So we're on pages show. So on here you see how we have this div business. What I want to do is, instead of all this, let's just cut this, and then let's come up here to the top and do provide tools do, and then we'll give this a block. And this is going to be kind of ugly for the moment, but this should basically move all of that up into the top up there. So let's refresh and see what happens. So you see how our buttons just pop up into the toolbar. So that's essentially where I want to put it, but it doesn't look great, so we're going to work on that. And I'm also going to work on, cleaning this code up, because this is kind of weird like this. So I think that may be mostly what we get to here, is fixing up the toolbar. So anyway, and I actually just realized I didn't quite explain what's going on with this. And to tell you the truth, I'll explain it, and then I will tell you that I haven't studied this in depth to know every different which way you can use it. But typically what you'll have, so we're rendering this navbar in our application HTML, so our layout file. So it's up here at the top level kind of. And then you have this yield, which it's related to what we're doing, but not exactly the same thing that actually renders out the actual view code. So what I want to do, what I'm actually trying to do with this provide yield thing, when I call a yield here, I'm at the top level and I'm saying if there's something called tools, yield it out or print it out or whatever. And we can give something back up to the top level with this provide. So up in our layout file we could have something called like, oh, I don't know, bacon, and then we could, down here we could provide bacon up to the top level. it's a fairly common pattern that you'll see around. I don't use it a ton, but it's really handy. So when you have things sort of at this top level architecture that are going to vary, you can get carried away with it. So I don't use it a ton. In a very early project, I used it a lot and it came back to bite. So now I'm a little bit more careful with it. But in any case, let's keep going. So the first thing I want to do is actually get these things to sit correctly in the inside this little toolbar. So I want them to basically be lined up. So why are they? So we've got a, what is that? A margin. There's no margin on the bottom. There's like a height here. I don't know exactly what styles are applied on this thing. So we have our breadcrumbs. What should I do? Let me think. So I don't know how much experience you have or don't have with the developer tools, but this in Chrome is extremely handy. So if we want to just play around with this a little bit, and this probably isn't the best way to do this, to be totally honest, but let's see if we can get this just to look right first before we even worry about that. So I'm thinking, just sort of eyeballing it, that, let's see, where were we? Our div here, you can see, is actually taller than the buttons, and I'm thinking it's just automatically the height of the containing element, which is that one, because that looks the same, which gives me the idea that I could do like, so in here I clicked on this div and then I can go to element.style and I can just modify the styles of this element. So we could do like padding top, we do like 5 pixels or something, and that basically looks like something we should do there. So we could do that anyway. So let's go over to our nav bar, or our div that we're providing here, and say class equals, I don't know, pt1 or something, and let's just kind of play with the bootstrap defaults and see if we get something that sits kind of right. That actually doesn't look too bad. Let's try pt2. That looks kind of wrong. So okay, let's go with the pt1, padding top 1. I don't know if I love the size of those buttons, but they're not terrible. I do think, so each one of these, we'll play with the style of these buttons in just a second. For now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm trying to make some sort of on-the-fly design decisions here, which is kind of why I'm mumbling, because I want to do something that looks good, but I also don't really want to spend a ton of time on it. So we'll go with something now, and if we decide later that we don't like it, we can absolutely do that. So I'm going to add a class here instead of btn primary. I'm going to call this toolbar btn. I guess to go with the bootstrap styling, we could go btn toolbar. Maybe that's more how we should do it. I don't know. So I could just change that to be toolbar and toolbar. So then in our theme, inside the toolbar, you could do .btn toolbar, and let's set the background color to be, what should it be? We should, let's try actually this top stripe background color, so it's going to match the color of the stripe above. This might be nice. So that's the background color. We'll say the color is white, and then we'll do and hover, and we'll do background color, and let's actually darken this color a little bit more. I need to get rid of that semicolon there, so we'll darken that, and we'll give it a darkness of 5. And then let's do a transition here, and let's do background color 0.23s, maybe ease. And let's go try this out and see what it looks like. So those should actually kind of blend a little bit better, which is what I'm going for. Yeah, I kind of like that. And if we hover, they all kind of smoothly transition. So let me think though, because I don't love, it's not my favorite look right now, but maybe let's see what our options are. We could change the font a bit. Um, we could add icons. Do we have font awesome in here? Maybe that will be the more interesting thing to do. Looks like yes, right here. That's hard to read right now. Okay, so what did I do in my design? Hold on a second. All right, so I opened up my design over here. So we've got 3 icons right now. We have paragraph, image, and I think that's supposed to represent a list. I had them as white, but I kind of like the way I'm doing it now better, and I actually think I might like them rectangular better. In any event, let's see if we can swap in icons and see what that looks like. So, where are we? I've got form, submit. This is going to be a little bit tricky. How do I do this again? So let's do a quick Google together here. So let's go Rails submit button. There's a way to do this, yeah, with icon. So it's right there. And I've seen this about a bajillion times and never remember exactly. So it's button tag. I don't think, normally there's like a, maybe that's it actually. It could be a better one. Let's see. I don't like using raw like that. I guess let's go with button tag. I think there's a different way to do it, but that's similar to what I'm remembering. So let's try it. Let's do button tag. What was that syntax actually? Button tag submit something? No, that's the wrong one. This will create a button type equals submit. That looks like kind of what we want. So let's give it a shot. So button tag class, and then we'll do our btn toolbar. Okay, and then I need to grab an icon. So class equals, I'm going to just take a wild guess here. I think that's FAS, FA paragraph. So let's go try this. Okay, yeah, so that is basically what I was expecting. Let's try that for the other ones. So instead of add image, we'll have FA image here. And I'm going to indent that properly. Same thing here. And I think that one should be, what was that? What is this, list? Maybe? Let's go with it. One thing we're going to need to do, because I noticed for some reason those buttons are smaller, so let's PT2 that. And that actually looks pretty good right there. It's not the most obvious thing, which is kind of interesting, so we'll probably have to have some empty state saying, hey, go click on these buttons if you want to do something. But I actually think that looks really clean right there. So let's just leave it like that. So one other thing we might do, we have this edit here, which actually takes us to edit the page. That could also go in the toolbar, just looking at it. So why not, right? So we've got a link to edit here. So we could put that just at the end, and we'll switch the syntax up to link to edit btn toolbar do, and let's stick in here a I class equal FAS FA pencil. I think is a good one for edit. That's not a thing. FA, is it just edit? Okay, it's just edit. And I need an MR1 somewhere. let's do MR-1. So now we've basically got a little toolbar going on here. If I wanted, I could change the colors up a little bit so that they're a little bit better differentiated, because they all do kind of different things. We could also add a delete up here for deleting the page. Maybe we can make that kind of a red or something, or black, kind of make it look a little different. But in any event, now we can get rid of this. And now our title would kind of make sense to put inside of the page here, page body. So I don't need this deflex stuff anymore. Let's keep the MB5 for the moment. So we'll just put that there and refresh. Okay, we don't need MB5. That's way too much. Let's do MB3. Okay, so it's not quite lined up because there's this padding. So let's check really fast what the padding is on the elements. Actually, let's look in our, where are we? Paragraph. Okay, so let's go to a P4 and MB2. Let me copy those and put that over here instead of this MB3. Let's do a P4 MB2 and see if we get this all lined up well. Okay, let's refresh, and okay, there we go. But I don't need a MB2 actually. That still may be too much. P4 PB2. I want this to line up just a little bit better. You know what? This is not something I want to spend the whole time messing with, so we'll leave it like that. It's lined up. It's fine. Now, what can we do? What I want to do is actually add a card in here. So we'll just do a card and a card body. And we're going to update the card later. And again, I keep saying that I'm going to do a more in-depth like styling kind of thing. So this, let's have a look really quick at our design. So, okay, it's pretty close. There's some differences with shadows and border radiuses. And how it should scroll. I want it to scroll under the toolbar at the top, but okay, that's pretty well where we want it to get to. So I see one little quick change I'm going to make, and then I'm going to stop because I could do this all day. So PT5 maybe? Can we do that? Is that going to change anything? That might be too much. I could go all day sitting here tweaking stuff, and I think what I'm going to do, and this is what I was trying to say or starting to say a second ago, I'm going to do a longer session just tweaking all of this soon. We're going to change the font. We're going to work on all the little nuanced details, like I'm going to get rid of the border and I'm going to get rid of the border radius. I'll put a little drop shadow behind there, make it nice. Give the toolbar a little bit more shadow so it seems higher. I'm probably, if I haven't already, I don't think I brought anything in here about depth. So that material design framework, Materialize, also has a Z-depth library, which we'll probably grab, or something similar to it, where you can just specify a depth on each element, and you know, that way they kind of sort of stack properly. So we'll do that. But yeah, I think that's about it. Obviously, we haven't done this for every page, so what I need to do is actually go through each page and kind of detail everything. So again, I'll do that in a longer work session next week sometime, and I'll probably just throw that over on the TechMaker website, because I don't like it's. I want to put more stuff on the YouTube channel that's topic specific, and that's just going to be a lot of styling and tweaking and whatever. So if you're following along and you want yours to look just like mine or whatever, that would be where you would go, is over to techmaker.tv, and you can check it out there. But otherwise, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this styling thing here, and whenever we pick back up with this app, you'll be looking at a really nicely styled app, and it should be pretty cool. So anyway, what we're going to do next in this app is, I think the next thing I'm going to do is stimulus reflex form submissions. So we've got these Also, I need to restyle these. Crap, I'll do that in that work session too because I don't really like the black and so on. But right now, if I add something down here, it refreshes the whole page and you kind of lose sight of where you are. I want it to stay where you are. I want it to just kind of submit over the wire with Stimulus Reflex and kind of sort of JavaScript, just add the element, refocus your cursor into the input, remove whatever you entered into the input, all that kind of stuff. So we'll do that next, and I need to do a lot to this app. I need to add view components. I need to do some refactoring. So some of that will be in work sessions, and some of that will be in topic related videos as it makes sense. We're going to do some rich text search at some point, and I'm thinking about using Elasticsearch for that, which should be interesting if you've never used that before. But anyway, yeah, so there's lots of cool stuff coming up, so stay tuned. And if you haven't already, as a reminder again, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. And I will talk to you in the next episode.